Okay guys, I'm going to start now. Just trying to get a few things set up with YouTube and all the rest. So let's have a look at the charts. What's going on? What's likely to play out? And what's my gut feeling? So let's start. Reduce that music a bit. Okay, now let me get the mic next to my mouth so you can hear me better. Here in Melbourne, we've got lockdown, so I still haven't got my new mic, and I'll be waiting for the lockdown to go away before I can pick it up. All right, let's look at the charts, and let's start with the big picture, then go to the daily, and then work towards what we in the micro space, what trades we can potentially take, and so on. So let's look at the weekly. Actually, the monthly will be good. Let's look at the monthly, and we've got to pick a chart that has some history. Okay, that's a history chart. That's good. And you can see my lines on the chart based on monthly, or you can see I've done work there before. And let's just run this through, because I did pick up from YouTube 1 or 2 guys that have placed this in, and on the monthly we are looking bearish, but so did we down there, and so on. The RSI in the past, this level was a reversal. So when price came, let me get this out. Give me a sec. I think I'm getting a echo here, so that's not good. Where am I getting the echo from? YouTube, I bet you. So give me a sec, guys, while I get rid of that echo. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to get rid of that. Cool. Got rid of that echo. Okay. And what I'll do is just get my tool if I can. No, won't let me do that. Yes, we can. Yes, we do. Right, desktop. Record. What it does is it gives me this pen, and you can see at least. So if we look at this area here and this area here, historically, when we hit a top extension on the RSI, we had this pullback to a safe zone, and then we had that second attempt, and then the bear market. So this level was important. Similarly, in 2017-18, we hit our stride somewhere around there. This was that candle, and we thought that there might be something similar here, and then there was a pullback and another effort, and then get this big bearish divergence on the monthly, and then pull back. And once we lost that level, we hit that bear market, similar to here, bear market. And what's not happening now is when we got this pullback, it's not that level. We actually pull back much deeper. So that's a bit of a concern. So the historical charts aren't really giving us a guideline when it comes to the RSI. Using the RSI is not quite working for us. It's probably doing the right thing, but we can't really leverage it. And so this level here on the monthly was support, and if we lose this level, I think we're going to go definitely go further down, and currently it's not looking good on the monthly. With this tool, when you get the crossover, just like there, just like that on the monthly, that's usually the top. So the RSI tells us we've gone deeper with the RSI and past a critical level like this, and the bear market was that stage when we lost that level, and we're already here on the RSI. This indicator pretty much says when we cross over, we have a correction, which is fine. And when this green hits that 50% RSI, then we see more deeper pullback. Similar here, this one actually corrected itself, but the second time round, when the green and the red came down to 50%, that's when our bear market started. So I got these vertical lines. This was where the red dropped below 50%. Here was one stage, but it was shallow. So our red is really high up, similar to here. So it's got a long way to go before it gets to the bear market stage. So it's got to drop a whole lot, this red line, RSI, it's got to drop a long way down before the bear market is confirmed. So we're not confirmation yet, but we have a deep correction. What is a deep correction? What is a correction? If you know your Elliott waves, you have your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if this is a lot of people think this is our 3. So if we have, and a lot of people think this is 1, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. So we're having the 3 to 4 correction wave, and then we're going to have that big rally to the 5. So I still agree with that. Now this correction wave, it's usually A, B, C. And this A, length of A to B usually is length of C to whatever it is. It's either 1 to 1 or it's 1 to 1.618 or something like that. And that's what I'm expecting. I'm thinking something like that, where it pulls back deeper. And we'll get into that, but that's looking at the monthly. Let's look at the weekly. And the weekly, you can see pretty much signs that everything's gone below 50%. So this candle right here, this candlestick on the weekly has let us down right there. So everything's gone below 50%. So that's why we're having this deep pullback. The momentum is on the way down. Everything's below, anything below 50%, especially all three indicators along with the grey, we have no chance, imminent response to go up quick anytime soon. This doesn't agree with it. And we're midweek, so the weekly is looking weak for us. So is the RSI. RSI is pretty much pointing down. And if we use anything in reference in the last time when everything went below 50%, there's not many, is there, historically, where all three, green, red, and blue, went down below. So the blue is the average of the red and green. So let's have a look back a bit more. Here's a spot where all three went below 50%, around there. And this was pretty much a correction phase. Forget about this, that's a COVID incident, so that's traumatic. But here, we have the scenario where everything went below 50%, just like this. And you can see it's taken from September to pretty much December, 3 months of trying to find the bottom. I think we're doing that as well. 3 months of trying to find the bottom before we get there, the reversal. And the question is, what level is it? So people aren't bullish or bearish. Well, you've got to be bearish, really. You've got to be bearish at this stage, looking for a reversal somewhere. I pretty much played it safe, and I'm cashed up, I think, about 70%. So I look for exit once this drop was complete. I'll look for points to get out, cash up, in case it went further down. And if it went up, well, I'll just buy back in. I'd rather risk missing out than risk losing money. So that's a golden rule. This area gives me some clues to what's happening. That's what I think is happening here, where price drops a lot, plays this level, and then drops deep. So this drop down here, I think is that here, roughly, if we're going to simulate anything like it, where we're going to have a real deep pullback and then find selling exhaustion somewhere around there. So this was, RSI was really low. Right here we had a bit of a crossover, 50% move with a one week move. So we didn't have that yet. We're looking for that. So I think we're still going to go down, similar to this. So if I clear that out, just to make it clear to you guys, this is a big drop. We had this long process before we had the deep drop or correction, and pretty much we had something similar there, if you want to put equivalence to it. And then we had 2 big candles, pretty much like this, and then we had a slight green one, and then 2 red ones. So maybe we're going to have 2 more red ones down here, 2 more weeks of looking for the bottom, and then a green candle. Now what is that level? That's the mystery, right? I don't think it's going to go down that far. That's crazy, but it's not impossible. So the weekly is going to give us a clue. The weekly RSI and the weekly Phoenix. This Phoenix is available, I believe. So you can use this Phoenix indicator if you want. And so I'm looking from the weekly where to look for entrance. This is going to give me some guidance, and I'm going to use this area as a reference. Potentially use this area as a reference as well, but I think this one is much more applicable to our scenario. All right. Now let's look at the next stage. What can we do? When we start off, we should look at support and resistance lines, right? Let me make this screen bigger. I think you guys want to see the numbers bigger and so on. So I remember some feedback. Let me look at this. Where is it there? No. Why can't I? Interesting. Is that it there? No. Come on. Why I got this up there? Ah, here we go. So what we do is just make this a bit bigger, I think. The browser bigger so you can see. Come on, move. I think that will make it a bit better for you guys. Just things a bit bigger. When I zoom in. All right. So this is the weekly chart. You can see the weekly chart has wicks from historical perspective. We had these wicks here. This was demand. So we'll draw that in. That was a demand area. So it's likely to play demand as well in the coming weeks. I think this is the buy zone for the time being. So that's from a weekly perspective. We have this weekly level. So let's put that in there. Weekly support. So we've got a number of weekly supports. This weekly support is about to, if we lose it, we'll go probably down to the next weekly support. So that's there. The weekly support using the weekly candlesticks. So we put that in. When price comes up, so we lost that top. Weekly resistance is that level. And that was consistently being our resistance level. Can't argue about that. Now what I'm going to do is just expand this a bit. Put some Fibonacci's into it. Just reverse that. Okay, where am I? Reverse that and add these levels. Actually, need to put the fib in there. So if that's 0, our 1 is there. 1.618 is pretty much what we had resistance to this level. So the golden ratio. And I think that should do it. If we just tweak that right to the wicks on both tops, and you can see how that has confluence with resistance. And okay, so I think that's, now what we just need to do is add some important moving averages just to see if that comes into play. We'll pick the 50. No, we want the weekly, so not daily. The 50 looks like we're losing. And then the weekly 100. Make that gold. Turn that on. So the weekly 100 is there. What have I got there? The 200. Okay. Let's get there. I need a day. Okay, leave it there for the time being. Don't need it. Okay. So we put all our major levels for the weekly. Now we can go to the daily. I'm taking everyone can hear me. No one's saying I can't. Okay. Here we go. So you can see the 50 moving average was pretty much our support level along with the weekly support candlestick, and we're pretty much losing that. So when we lose the if we lose this value, let me see what the value is. I think that could be tweaked a bit. I thought it was about 500. Let me see. Yeah, I thought it was a 32,500, just from a reference point. So let me look at the weekly again, just to make it clearer that we got that right. Actually, it's a bit lower, isn't it? Just a bit lower. There you go. That was our weekly support. What was that value? 200. All right, just say a round number. I think if we lose that level, we're looking at the next. Back to the daily. We don't need this line anymore. We don't need that. These were our daily levels. You can see how we lost those daily support and daily resistance. So, and we've got this formation that's pretty much broken out. I did have a chart on the smaller time frames shared with the group. Let me see where I am on this chart. All right, let me just push this across. Had a few Bitcoin charts on a small time frame. We had this head and shoulders, and if I was to clean this up a bit, just for you guys to understand what's been going on. So we had this head and shoulders, it played itself out and it reached its target. Then we had this sidewards head and shoulders, and pretty much, so if I was to do that, neckline, the breakout was from that top there. So that was an old one and perfect. So it really did the head and shoulders there as well from the breakout point. So that was the breakout. Although breakout here, the retest was up there and we've hit our target. So this structure is given that target. Now we've got another structure, which is that blue structure there. So give me a sec. We can try and get rid of all of this. Okay, so I'll get rid of that. If I just put my lines here for a sec, these will be new lines, and we can get rid of, where was it? Was it this group? Yeah, that's the group. So based on this structure, we have roughly this height. We've got two heights really. That one has a deeper thing, target, based on that structure, and the second part to that structure is up here, from there to there, and actually it should be there, the point for this structure breakout. Now, could we put this like that? In a way we can, can't we? So we can put the breakout there, I think. So that's a hard part to work out. And this is just a theory, of course, but that is the target, from 28,000 to 30,000. Based on this, continuation pattern, or the structure's break target. So we're looking at this structure, and the target is roughly there. Now what's so let's have that. That's 28,800 to 30,000. So I go back to my original. So we're going to do 28,000 to 30,000. Was it 20,800 to 30,000? So that is pretty much the target for this, which has confluence with this bottom level, really. So yeah, so we're 32,700 at the moment. Yeah, so what have we got here? What was this? Yeah, 800, 20,800 to 29,800. Okay. This one's 29,800, roughly. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. It has no confluence with the moving averages. There's nothing there. Does it have confluence with Fibonacci on the macro? No, it doesn't. So that is just a phase, I would imagine. So what we're looking at is the ABC correction. So we have the A, that's potentially the B. I don't think that could be the C, but I think C is going to be deeper. Maybe to 1. 1's possible, which is the all-time high. That's one perspective. This level has confluence, previous resistance, with the 50 moving average. So to me, that makes that level makes sense. Okay, and what I'm imagining that so we didn't get the rally that we normally do, which is up and then down, which is the higher beta, I suppose, to this level. We didn't get that, and probably I'm going to rule that out, that we're going to do that. The responsive rally when we have a big deep correction. Now, if this is the case, remember I was talking about, let's go back one. I was talking about this phase here, how we got the correction in the bottom. If you look at here, this makes sense to me here at the moment. This area is potentially a good area. Yeah, 19,000, probably not that deep. That weekly resistance, so hold on, what am I doing? That's the area, which has a 50 moving average. And if you look at 50 moving average, it did do a support there. And you can see the 50 moving average on the weekly playing support as well. So the 50 weekly moving average right now is about 24,000. Now that's one way of okay, see my no, I don't look at people's charts most of the time, and there's too many people with charts. I usually follow the usual people that I have on Twitter. So no, screen maker, I'm not sure, I don't know who you are. Therefore, how will I know to look at it? But let me look at your chart. Let me see what you're thinking. Okay, based on what? Previous support, all-time high. Yeah, that's viable. No, that makes sense to the previous support, but what's the obvious doesn't usually turn out to be the obvious trading. It's either going to go beyond, in my thinking, it's going to go it's not going to touch this. It's either going to fall short to it or go more. That is too obvious. And looking at the Fibonacci equals 1, just like here, what they did here, they front run it, and the whales make you chase it. And if we're all waiting here for this level, it's going to be pretty obvious that that's not going to be, they're not going to let us play it out. Just like here, that was a pretty obvious area. it doesn't always work out the obvious, and that's what I'm trying to say. There's some psychology games in here, and they do play with us. Anyway, so looking at the perspective from here, let me go back to the daily. I'm going to do the Fibonacci on this extension and see what it gives us. So if I have from there to there, all right, let's get that in black. Actually, probably red will be good. Okay, red. So a 618 is there. If I was to do this any more accurate, let me try to do that more accurate. Give it a sec. That was it right there. That's the top. You can use that top. It doesn't make any difference really on that one, does it? That one and that one. Oh, what am I doing? Touching the wrong thing here. So if we move this slightly above, 618. Oh, okay. The 618 goes all the way down to all-time high. So that makes sense still. So the question is, do we use this level or use that level? I'm thinking of this because this is overextension. I think that's fabricated, that one there. So I'm going to use what looks to be the mean average resistance, which is this level, because right there. So this level to me is a good reference point rather than this one here. And that gives me about 21,200 on a 618. Could be wrong. But obviously this range has lower confluence. This line makes sense. So I'm going to change my target. Just bring it down a bit to that weekly there and increase it. I mean, anything is possible. I'm going to try and narrow down to this 50 moving average and anything above and below. So around here. I just don't think we're going to get down to there. Maybe a wick. But that's what I have at the moment based on the ABC correction, the fib extension, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, so this notch makes sense. If we're to fail that, then definitely here. Yeah, so that definitely there. If we're to break not hold here, where we've got the 50 weekly moving average, then definitely there. And I'm not sure what moving average is there. Yeah. So that's what I have at the moment. I try to explain the reasoning behind it. And the ABC makes sense, doesn't it? Now let me have a look at someone else's reference point. Someone did a good job of it. Now, there's a guy called Alicio, and what did he say? He said, give me a sec. Let's have a look. Let's look at this. What was Alicio's chart? Okay, that doesn't show. Yeah, as Alicio had it 32,400 as the most important line at the moment. So 32,400. No, 32,400. So we're still above it. His line was 32,000. I can see why he's done that. That's because that with the Fibonacci level as well. So if we go to the 4 hour now, look at deeper and closer. So that was his line there as well. So if we lose that, make that green. You see, if we lose this green, so you can see why. The 1.272, the weekly support, everything really pretty much points to this green line. If we lose this level, and price is pretty much, where's the price now? 32,700. So very close to it. If we don't get if we lose this level, which I think we are, maybe not today, this red level is my next target for a bounce. And then obviously, if we come down to this level, then we're going to find resistance to this all these wicks. They're going to be resistance, and then we're going to go down further. Obviously, we can probably go up to this level here, a bit more extension, but the ABC correction is still on its way. So we've lost this, and we spent a fair bit of time since, what is it, mid-May till, so 2-3 weeks, and that's concentration of volume here. This is a volume concentrated area, and therefore when price comes back up, it will get rejected for sure. It's just because we spent so much time and it didn't work. So definitely going down. That makes sense to a lot of people. So what I had today, if I could, let's get those back again. There was definitely, this is what I had as a trade, and I was fortunate enough to, I had this line, let me have a look. I shorted here, right there perfectly. It could be better, I should have shorted there really, but I wasn't paying attention. So my next best was shorting there. So I'm pretty much ahead there. And yeah, I think we could potentially get a little bounce from this range. Bit of other extension. I think we'll get a bounce from here. And when if price was to come up, which there's a number of areas, but I think this area is a nice shorting potential. Short there. If it goes higher, so be it. But you should start trending with the trade. No, start trading with the trend. Sorry about that. Yeah, so that makes sense. Start trading with the trend, and the trend is downwards. So that's how I'm playing it. And look for the right setups. Don't just short it. Make sure there's a few touches before you short it. So that's what I got in my mind, that this is a target for a good bounce based on this structure. And let's see what else I got. That looks like a mess, doesn't it? But that was for something else. So let's look at 15 minutes. So this didn't play out at all. This was a hypothesis. Actually, all right, just leave it at that. Again, another way of looking at the charts, and we break some key levels. And this is my, obviously, last area of support. I don't look favorable to it. If once we've broken this big structure, there is no likely sense. So this could be a shorting range here. So if price was to come here, look for shorting. And that's it for that. Now let's look at Ethereum. Where are we? There we go. So Ethereum. Cool. So clean that up a bit. And you can see this line here. If I was to extend this, once it was broken, we got this drop. So that was another, similar to Bitcoin really, another macro formation, a grind to the top and then a drop. And so if I was you, I'll start trading this as a downtrend. I would think, let's see what's a good at the moment. What's going well. This one. Let's change the candlesticks. Cool. Reverse that. So if I was to just pick those lines there, okay, so it's already probably happened already, hasn't it? This is a favorable area to short. So if this was to come back up, that's a good area to short on Ethereum. And looking at this structure, I think based on, if I was to do this, I'll just do that there. This is the target, so 2,280 at the moment. So I got these two ranges based on the structure as the target. Could be slightly higher. And let's give it a go with the Fibonacci extension. Okay, so it's likely to be right there. So 1.618, which is about 2,300. And then I'll start playing, I will stop shorting after that, just to see what it gives us. So Bitcoin, as Bitcoin drops, I'll see Ethereum also heading southwards. MACD tells us the same. 12 hour, let's see what the 12 hour does. Okay, so you can see where we had historical support, this range. There's a lot of confidence for support for Ethereum, and let's have a look at that. So you can see I've done my lines and we've broken down those lines. So yeah, here we go. So 2,200 is one area of confluence. I like this area here. This one is strong support right there. Let me see, right. So, okay, just below 2,000. The other level of support is there. Okay, 2,144. Why do we say that? Let's look at other, let's see what the indicators tell us. Let's look at the daily more so. And you can see even on this, that the green RSI, the grey and the blue are all pretty much down. The red's almost below 50%. So this is bearish as well. In terms of which one's better, Ethereum or Bitcoin, Ethereum's been doing relatively well, holding up. So if we're to split this up and look at Ethereum against Bitcoin, there you go. So Ethereum is still doing pretty well against Bitcoin. Yeah, there might be a bit of a drop, but I don't see it dropping too much. So let's see what's the case if we have that. So it's just the first Fibonacci is really holding it up. And you can see here it's pretty bullish. The green RSI red is still way above 50%. So this is an uptrend. This is not going to change anytime soon. So this is not reflecting Bitcoin. So if Ethereum is dominant, that tells us that the alt market is still more preferable, really. Not on the drops, but in terms of the entry. So like look at that. So we have that correction, but Ethereum is pretty much still going up. And so Ethereum hasn't lost this level. So you can see how that right there was a fair bit of support, acted as resistance once we broke it. So I would say that you use this 10 and 20 moving average to buy your way in. So if this was to pull back, pretty much cradle trades I'll be looking at, something similar to this. At the moment, there's going to be consolidation. So this is from a structural perspective. I think is happening is a reaccumulation for Ethereum against Bitcoin. This range. So Ethereum is going to be ranging in this area for some time until Bitcoin finds its bottom, and then so it could be the case. If you look at Wyckoff charts, it might come down. It's possible that it could come down and visit down to the 0.5 or even more. One last effort, and then work its way up. That would make sense. I just can't see Ethereum dropping based on this. So if I look on the weekly as well, let's flip this around. Yeah, so you can see why it's got resistance, right? This level here, prior resistance. So Ethereum's hit Ethereum against Bitcoin, that is. It's found, so this is the round bottom or the cup. So let's see if we can just hide this, what it looks like. Where are we? Where's that? Those lines. That one there, okay. That makes sense. We have consolidation under this major resistance. Yep, that makes sense. So we have this consolidation under resistance, and Ethereum against Bitcoin still makes sense to go with it. There's a better chart than this. Hold on, give me a sec. With what was it? Polynex. Polynex had a bit more of a history. So if we do this from the bottom to the top, just reverse that. There we go. You can see the confluence, 0.5, 0.618 support. And if we haven't got confirmation, but if this was the cup, and if this is some formation of the handle, whatever, it could be a wedge, could be whatever it is, then the bull market continues, like a lot of people talk about. So that's one scenario. The other scenario is pretty much all the way down, but I don't see that happening. I'm still bullish on the macro. The bull market is going through, the market that we're having is going through a correction phase, not a bear market. That's how I see it. And the correction phase is going to, 24K to, or 18,000 to 24,000, whatever. We don't know yet. And these indicators are going to give us a hand, I'm hoping. So if I look at this, yeah, let me just make these lines a bit thinner, a bit too thick. Where are we? Okay, so that was this indicator is, I like it a lot. When a few things pass the 50%, you can see the reversal. This is the point of jumping in, and currently it's going sideways. That's bullish still, very similar to this. The green is gone above the red, and yeah. So if you look at this clearly, the green's gone above the red and the blue. So the pressure is upwards. I'd like to see this go above 50%, but this is on the weekly. So the momentum's still to the upside. It's got none of this pointing down. It's anything, it's upwards. So Ethereum is looking really good against Bitcoin at this point. And I'll use this moving average ribbon for some means of trading. And that makes sense based on what Ethereum, and I think the Ethereum is having another upgrade soon. So that's going to make things, and if it was a good outcome, it makes more sense to have Ethereum. So I might reconsider at the moment, because I got Bitcoin and I got Ethereum, but this tells me that I should probably hold more Ethereum. Give me a sec. Yeah, a bit of a correction there. That's the daily. Let's look at 12-hour. Yeah, so this ribbon, if you know the cradle method, yeah, so if this comes back down a bit more, don't worry about this formation. We're not interested in that. I look to see, so it's obviously come across a real strong, so you got the hammer and then a red. So if this closes, definitely this is going to go down. Just these candlesticks at a key level tells us it's going to go down. So I would, and these indicators are crossing over. So there's a bit of a downward pressure at the moment on the 12-hour. The daily, well, if it closes, so we've got another day, or another 12 day, yeah, tomorrow we'll find out what that is looks like. But the 12 hours telling me there's downward pressure based on the hammer and this red candle, which engulfs. We've got another 4 hours or 5 hours for that to close. And this looks like a good entry point, roughly around there. So I see this coming down across to the 10-20 moving average, and then potentially a good entry point to flip over. All right, that's all I got. How long have I been online? Yeah, it's about an hour really. So I don't want to go beyond that. There's more details I can put on the chart later on, but I just want to do a quick one, give you guys a heads up as to what's going on right now. Yeah, so now we can see the weekly support. This is the critical area. I don't think we're going to hold. Now look, 50 moving average slightly above, isn't it? This blue one, weekly to 50 is crossing over as well. So this ABC correction, guys, if you haven't seen it early in this presentation, play the stream back. I do see this ABC correction taking place. I thought it might be A, B, C for double bottom. that's one scenario, and the other one is a deeper correction and up. And the indicators will help us work out when that reversal is on the daily, I would imagine. Initially on the daily, you can see even on the RSI, you can see how that broke that it was basically, this was a bear flag. RSI is telling us that, right? So I've got a bit of extra information here. Let's close this. You can see this RSI level confirms that we've pretty much broken to. It was playing out this level of support. As soon as it break that point, where I've got the green line, this, you can see how it was trying to hold on to this level on the RSI, and when it dropped, what happened to price? Same, got a red candle. That red candle pretty much brought it down. So this broke this, and it's likely to come down. The RSI is likely to come down to the previous low, which is, I don't know, in the 24%. So downward, and that's why I got this level here as a target. 30,000 previous area as well. A lot of confluence, and so there's not much to say at the moment. If you can find something of a little balance on the 2 hour, potentially do a reversal. If it's a good shorting opportunity which you should take, and definitely it doesn't look like it's slowing down at all. I'm wrapping it up at that. If you've got any comments, please do so. I would like some donations once in a while. You got TradingView coins. Wouldn't hurt to donate some my way. Maybe help me pay my subscription fee over a year period. And that's it, guys. I'm wrapping it up. Have a nice evening, and stay tuned.